All right, it's been a while, but Ryan is back. He has read a book that he wants to talk about with you guys.
Just the one book.
Just the one, actually. You've read a few, but this is the one that got you heated. So, today we're going to talk about Dark Matter, the ever-popular sci-fi thriller. We're first going to talk spoiler-free, our opinions and our recommendation, and then we're going to get into the stuff that we think spoiler-filled about this book. Correct?
Yeah. Why are you saying correct? It's your channel.
You're the one who has the notes. He took lots of notes.
Well, that's because I need notes to, like, do stuff on this channel. You can just go from the hip.
I'm winging it, but spoiler-free. What did you think about this book?
It's a very fast-paced book. Like, it's only about 200 pages, and it feels about 20 when you're reading it.
It's actually 340 pages.
Exactly. my point exactly. But I felt like it was a very good introductory sort of sci-fi read. Like, if you are somebody who is not very well versed in sci-fi books and you kind of just want to dip your toes into it, it felt like a perfect book for that sort of audience. I think there's a lot of interesting ideas in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I agree, but...
No? Well, okay, then you talk.
I mean, I think you're right in terms of, like, this is a very accessible science fiction novel, mainly because the science is magic. Like, and I'm not even one of those people that, like, needs my science fiction to be based in reality and only follow the rules. Like, I just don't even think, you know how, like, I get with sci-fi movies that have, like, time travel, which this, I'm not spoiling anything for this book, I'm just saying hypothetically, time travel. I get annoyed when the movie sets up rules for its time travel and then, like, breaks them or doesn't think about things.
Yeah.
That's how I feel Dark Matter is. So I guess I didn't think it had interesting ideas because I felt that the sci-fi points were plot devices to get us from point A to B to C in whatever the plot was doing at any given point. Like, I didn't find that part compelling. If anything, I wish that part had been removed and been replaced with, like, a magical realism device. I don't know. Mainly because, like, I think it attempts to be what is called hard sci-fi in its terminology. And I just think that's kind of, like, cheeky and, like, marketing sort of thing. I don't know. My problems with it are less with the sci-fi elements and more with it has the tropiest dumb smart character I've ever read. And I dislike him, like, a fair bit. I think his name's what, Jason?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's Jason. So, but I mean, I would recommend it if you have really never read a sci-fi thriller. This will probably surprise you, and it will be fun, and it will be a good weekend read. Like, I still read it in, like, 2 days, and I didn't even really like my time. Like, it is a fast book. You liked it a little more than me, I think.
Yeah, like, I think, really to drive the point home that we've both made, if this is your first sci-fi book, or your first sci-fi book in a long time, it's a good read. If it's your second sci-fi book, you can skip it.
Yeah, I actually read this author's other book, Recursion.
No.
Which you haven't read, but you remember it from...
Yeah, no, I remember.
way back when Ryan was
my debut.
First video, he guessed the plot of Recursion based off its cover. I don't remember how close you were, but... But I read Recursion, and I did not dislike Recursion. But reading Dark Matter, I was like, I already know what's going to happen. I know how this author writes, and this character is, like, the same as that other character. Except I liked that other character more, and Recursion had 2 main point of views. This just has one, and he drove me crazy, which we'll talk about in the spoiler section. But it just felt plot devicey, and I guessed the thrill, like, within 2 seconds. There was one part that, like, I was surprised at, and it surprised you too, but not in a good way.
Well, we can get into that.
Yeah, so those are our recommendations. If you're a beginner, feel free. It's not actually bad. It's, like, perfect what I would call an airplane read.
It's like... This is the J.J. Abrams of books. And I haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, so maybe that's a more, like, derogatory comparison than what I mean. But, like, it's very pretty on the surface, but once you go a layer deep, it's like, what? Like, it's very Force Awakens.
Yeah, I think when I finished this, I gave it like a 3 or 3.5, and the longer I've spent away from it, the more I'm like, that really was a 3 at max. stars. So how many stars would you give it?
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah, so that's where our enjoyments were, but we are relatively well read in sci-fi for the most part. So this was not our first sci-fi. And that's how it is. So now we're going to do spoilers, and I'll put a nice spoiler bar here. It's probably going to be spoilers for the rest of the video, so if you don't want that, get out. So, yeah, this multi-dimension box doesn't make sense, right?
Not really, but I did think it did a good enough job of like keeping the pace fast enough that it doesn't encourage you to think too hard about it.
I guess. As someone who loves quantum mechanics and loves when it's used in a book, it was used so haphazardly. I was just like, wait, how is this box now in all these places? Does this box stay in this place? Is there duplicates of this box? How does this box, like, travel? I get once you're in the box how, you know, in theory, the quantum state works. But even then, if it's being observed by a human, it shouldn't exist. But that's besides the point. But that's what I was saying at the beginning. It uses a hard sci-fi term of quantum and multi-dimensions. And it literally, like, I don't know if he talked to a scientist, but it didn't make sense to me. And I only took, like, intro and, like, undergrad quantum. I'm not an expert. But it didn't make sense.
But neither is Blake Crouch.
Oh, and I hate Jason. Oh my god, Jason. Okay, as someone pursuing a PhD who wants to teach, which is what Jason does, he is the worst. He is so dumb. Like, he has no brains. He has 0 brain cells. Like, he's not smart. And also, life is not just publish or perish or have a family or be a failure. Like, work-life balance is a thing, and that is not... This book is either live for love or live for work. There's no in between. That's what this book is preaching, and I just like, it's such an unhealthy view of like that book smart, not street smart character. And I'm done seeing him.
See, my biggest gripe with this book is just that I've read a lot of books after I've seen the movie. That's actually how I got into reading more as a hobby, is that I just had all these movies that I liked and I wanted to read the books of. And when you compare the two mediums, you notice that books go into so much more detail. And this sounds so common sense, but with this book, it just felt like the corners that get cut into movie adaptations were already cut here.
Yeah.
It's like, you can use words to add more to the story. Like, you don't have to jump from A to B because we're like cutting to a new scene. And it felt like that was happening. And lo and behold, he is making an adaptation of this for a movie.
Which one?
I mean, you can just use the book. Like, the script's already in here. Like, there's so many pages with like
just dialogue.
Like,
the dialogue.
just like one lines of dialogue and stuff like that.
Which white dude did you have playing Jason? I had Matt Damon sometimes. Sometimes I had Tom Cruise. Like,
well, I didn't have Matt Damon because
there's a cat over there.
He didn't get. Yeah, Lila's just been like lurking. I didn't have Matt Damon because he doesn't get rescued.
Oh, that's fair. That's just The Martian.
But yeah, no. The entire time I was reading this, I was just thinking, here's a very short sci-fi book that is meant to be like, kind of. Don't think about the science too hard, with a very quick-witted and fast-talking protagonist. And you know what? Just read The Martian.
Martian has reasonable science. The Martian, I'm not willing to say The Martian science is 100% good. But The Martian for sure is that quick, witty, action-packed. It's weird to call it action-packed.
It really felt like he was trying to write The Martian, but like for multiverse-based sci-fi.
Remember when you started this book and it's about the person who cares about the path not taken?
Oh my god. I friggin' forgot about that. So like the very like first page, I think, starts with like, have you ever wondered like XYZ, or here I can just read it. For anyone who has wondered what their life might look like if the road not taken. That right there, you just alienated like half the people who wanted to read this book. It's like that's like 7th grade English writing, that you don't put what if scenarios to start a freaking story.
Yeah. What was another moment? You came home after reading about all the Jasons making it to the place.
Oh my god. Okay. So the big like second act into third act moment to set up the third act climax. I'm putting this in movie terms because this is just written like a movie. So the whole crux of this book is that the Jason we follow was kidnapped by another Jason who wanted his life.
The Jason who worked too hard and was very successful because he just spent every day working and working and working.
Super successful Jason invented the multiverse box.
Yep.
And so family guy Jason just gets the short end of the stick, but then manages to get back into the multiverse box with the help of Amanda, who I will bring up because
poor Amanda. She's the best thing about this book.
Yeah, I'll get into that in a second. But Jason makes his way back into the box, and him and Amanda are trying to get back to Jason's reality, and they have like 40 attempts because you have to like take a drug to like get into the multiverse.
So that you're not observing your reality. It's supposed to put the body into a way where it can interact with the quantum space.
And so they keep failing because basically the multiverse that gets created is basically whatever you're thinking of, or it takes whatever thoughts you have.
It takes the nuances of the human imagination to pick a random door for you to open.
So after like 30 failed attempts to find his way home, Jason realizes that the probability is equivalent to finding a single grain of sand on the beach, and basically like carves out like a very specific memory of his that gets him back home because this is a movie plot. And then when he comes home, he finds out to realize that other iterations of Jasons have also found their way back to this reality, which
I thought was actually kind of cool.
Is so dumb. And it's like I was blown away at how cliche that was.
Yeah, a little bit.
After like just telling me like the statistical like unlikelihood that you'll ever go home, and then like it ends up being like 100 other iterations of you end up back there.
Yeah, and then your favorite Jason then makes a lottery system.
Well, anyway, so I think all those Jasons that were supposed to be back are like it's string theory, and then it's not string theory for like multiple dimensions. It's never really like explicitly said.
It's just plot conveniences, which is fine, but like stop over explaining the badly put together idea. So yeah,
but it really felt like at that point, like he felt like he just had such a killer ending to the book that he just like the pace gets even faster,
I mean, and my issues also come, I think a lot of my issues are with Jason, because I think I could forgive the plot conveniences if I wasn't bored with him, but also, like, first of all, we have Jason, what do we call him? Jason 1? Is that his name? The one who's the super smart one, or is he Jason 2?
No, Jason 2.
Okay, so Jason 2 is the super smart one who created the multiverse and steals the dude's life and everything like that. Why this person? What's her name? Daniela? Danny? Or what's
his wife.
Yeah, whoever.
Daniela.
Okay, you're a billionaire or a millionaire. He is super rich, super well off. Why this woman that he dated for like 5 weeks once? Like this Jason, he just like really wanted another booty call and went and created a multiverse for it. That's a lot. That's a lot of effort. And then our Jason literally spends most of this book pining after his wife, which fair. If I lost you, I'd care. Like, but also if we had a kid, I would also think about that kid once in a while. Like, ever. He has a kid. We haven't talked about that kid.
Teenage son, yeah.
Because this character literally only cares about finding his wife again. Maybe if he thought about his son and his wife at the same time, he would have gotten there quicker.
Well, he didn't have enough time. This book moves too fast to think about his son.
What I will say, some cool stuff that I'm remembering now that I did like is when they ended up in that, because we're in Chicago, right? Is that the city? The Chicago with its own pandemic? That was something to read in the year 2021.
Yeah.
That was a thing. It was unexpected, and also so cute that they thought they would handle anything in any rigorous manner.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? We can't even get people to take vaccines willingly. Like, excuse me.
No, so the Jason one, I guess, the one you follow throughout the book, ends up in this alternate dimension, not knowing that he's in an alternate dimension yet until he starts, like, meeting people from his life who look different and don't recognize him and, like, don't share the same memories as him. And so Amanda, the psychiatrist at the company for which Jason 2 works for, is evaluating him and realizes that this is a different Jason from the one who went into the box. And so she helps him escape. And this person literally goes through like 30 different realities with him. And like then one day she just leaves because she realizes like I'm never getting home, and I like the reality I'm in, because they finally, after like going through like a pandemic universe, I think there was there was a climate change.
I don't actually think she stayed
disaster.
in that reality though. I think she
really?
just,
Did she leave?
Yeah, she was just like, I can tell you're never gonna let her go, and I'm not helping you get there. I'm probably affecting the door, so I split up the tablets. Good luck. I think that's how it was.
But like I don't know. There's this character. I don't know. If I had a like grain of sand on a beach chance of going back to my own life, I might reassess my relationship with this person that I've been to 30 different realities with, and is the only person who can relate to being to 30 different realities.
Yeah, they don't even have to like form a romance. They could just like learn to survive and live in a new world together. Like, it's your only friend.
And that's like the character of Daniela, and to an even greater degree his son Charlie, are just kind of props for the plot.
Literally, we only get Daniela perspectives when she's being doped by Jason 2, and she's like, man, he's being so sweet and romantic.
Yeah.
Man, and she doesn't even notice anything's wrong. I'm sorry, there's no universe in which Jason 2 and Jason 1 kiss the same. Like, Jason 1 probably kisses like you've been with someone for 20-some years. That's very different than someone who's only dated you for a few weeks. So she was a little dense. And just like...
Get off my notebook, Lila.
Delilah's being a very good helper cat. So, I don't know. I think that for this to have worked, I think I would have had to care about Jason. And I just never did.
Yeah.
I think that was my issue. Because, like, obviously I've read books that, like, aren't that deep. That are just pleasure reads, that are fast. Like...
It just... The author really felt like he was in a rush to get to every action beat.
But at the same time, spends pages
in a vacuum, the action beats are cool.
Yeah.
But I just don't think there's enough in between those pages to kind of justify the reaction that, you know, a typical like sci-fi action scene would warrant.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just fine. It was fine, and then when it wasn't just fine, it annoyed me. I think that's the problem. It's mostly fine. It's like 70% fine. And then the other 30% is me being like, oh my goodness, Jason, how do you not notice that you need to pretend you're someone you're not right now? Like, excuse me. I don't know. Jason at the beginning of the book, like, he improves a little, but I don't know. In some moments it seems like he's brilliant, and in others I'm like, have you ever walked along a street? I am sad he never got to eat his mint chocolate chip ice cream. I am sad about that. Rip. So any other...
Not a big loss.
I know, you don't like mint chocolate chip ice cream, you monster.
It's fine.
It's like this book.
Yeah.
This book is mint chocolate chip ice cream for you mint haters out there.
There's better flavors out there.
I think for me it's like Moose Tracks.
You just wanted to get a reaction out of me.
I also don't really like Moose Tracks.
Have you had it?
I have had Moose Tracks, yes.
When?
In my life, I'm 28.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's like the one with like the peanut butter and chocolate bits in it, right? And it has swirls, chocolate swirls.
No, it's like caramel swirls.
Well, they have that too. It's called that because it's supposed to look like animal poop and ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had it. I've also had Tiger Tracks or something. I've had variations.
Tiger Stripes is different because it's stripes. There's no bits.
All right, we have gone off the rail. Thank you if you've made it this far. If you like this book, you are allowed, and we're not saying it's objectively a bad book. We just didn't have fun. which I think was the author's goal. So I think he missed the mark for us as readers. But you can't win them all, so. But if you also didn't like the book, feel free to write spoilers and type a lot and then rant with us. And per usual, constructive debate is super fun, but if you're just blatantly rude, I just delete comments. So that's just what I do.
I'll argue with you.
I will delete them before he sees them. So yeah, what emoji should they leave to let us know they've made it this far if they don't want to like say anything?
I guess an ice cream cone. I guess we're at that point.
All right, ice cream cone, and like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.